for joining us here. This is Mission Control Houston. You're getting a look at one of the balcony cameras from the Mission Control Center out in Korolev, the town outside of Moscow. Flight controllers there are working with flight control team here in Mission Control Houston, the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Teams working together to work through the procedures to open the hatch between two space vehicles today. On one side, the International Space Station, on the other, the Soyuz MS-11 spacecraft, and the doors that separate two crews.
And do I need to press record on the...
Currently aboard the International Space Station is Commander and European Space Agency astronaut Alexander Gerst, joined by NASA astronauts Serena Anand-Chancellor and Sergei Prokopyev of Roscosmos. Prokopyev, who is working through procedures now to open up the hatch to the Soyuz MS-11 spacecraft, carrying 3 new crew members to the International Space Station, 2 of which will be first-time space travelers. On board the Soyuz MS-11 craft is led by the commander of the Soyuz spacecraft and 4-time spaceflight veteran Oleg Kononenko. You can see there in the middle. To the left, you can see NASA astronaut Anne McClain, and to the right, Canadian Space Agency astronaut David Saint-Jacques.
Go ahead.
Вам удобно сейчас? Тут у нас
Айдар, go ahead.
есть небольшая радиограмма по
We have
консервации.
a quick radiogram regarding...
Here in Mission Control Houston, flight teams are being led by Flight Director Mike Lammers, who oversaw some of the docking procedures as the Soyuz MS-11 craft made its way to the International Space Station just a few hours ago.
Why don't we put radiogram 079?
To his right is Capcom Adam Springer, who has been communicating with the crew aboard the International Space Station. Again, Prokopyev leading the procedures to actually open the hatch between the station and the Soyuz vehicle, scheduled for a hatch opening time around 1:35 p.m. Central Time.
Айдар, David will copy everything now.
Да, мы успеем.
And it's still changing.
Время есть.
Well, we still have plenty of time, so don't worry about it. Okay.
Sergey, this is Alexander. Good to hear you. Likewise. Well, let's look at this radiogram. 0794 should be in front of you. We'll also have a diagram on the last page of that radiogram. So that's the setup you need to implement. You already did this before. So that's the same setup that you need to put together again. Oh, you're talking about that charge unit? Yep. Yep, using the discharging unit that you're currently operating on. Okay, copy. I'll put that setup together. Copy that. Station Moscow Space to Ground 1. Sergey. Station Moscow Space to Ground 1.
It's been quite an eventful day here in the world of spaceflight, starting this morning at 5:31 a.m. Central Time with the launch of the 3 crew members to the International Space Station. Just 6 hours later, 6 hours and 2 minutes to be exact, docked to the International Space Station at 11:33 a.m. Central Time. At the time, the station was 251 statute miles over the Atlantic Ocean, just east of some of the islands of the Caribbean.
You'll need to work and change your clothes.
Now looking forward to the hatch opening between the Soyuz vehicle and the International Space Station. From the live cameras you're getting a view of now, the International Space Station and the Soyuz vehicle traveling 255 statute miles over the South Pacific Ocean on a southwest to northeast coast, heading towards the western coast of Guatemala. The view you're getting now is from one of the external cameras of the International Space Station, looking at some of the ports on the Earth-facing side of the International Space Station. To the right, you're seeing the Soyuz MS-09 spacecraft. This was the crew vehicle that carried Tsarina Anand Chancellor, Alexander Gerst, and Sergei Prokopyev to the International Space Station back in June. To the left is the Progress 70 craft. Looks a little similar, but is a cargo craft. Delivered several tons of food and supplies, including some fuel, to the International Space Station on a record 4-orbit rendezvous. 4-hour rendezvous.
Они ждут? Да нет.
Do you think they're waiting? No.
Все нормально?
Everything is nominal?
Давид, 731.
David, 731. 731.
Принято 731.
Copy, 731.
Ага. Better? Ten. Так, Давид, ну можешь ты, наверное, переодеться. Окей. Может, после...
David, you can go ahead and change now? Okay.
Через 1,5 минуты.
Next set of measurements in 1.5 minutes.
Yes. Хорошо, вам все. Okay, Что случилось?
What happened? I don't know.
Никаких message.
No messages.
Формат IP. Все в порядке.
Well, everything is fine here.
Да. Странно. Сообщение ничего не было.
Nothing at all.
Ресурсы по Москве.
Замер готов?
Are you ready for the next measurement? Yes.
Все хорошо?
Is everything fine, guys?
Ничего нет. Сигнализация какая-то прошла.
Yes. Everything is fine. We heard an alarm, but
Только звук был.
just
Да, только сигнализация.
sound alarm. But we don't see any messages.
Может быть, 3 секунды, потом...
It lasted for about 3 seconds.
Okay.
And the pressure reading is 731.
Okay, well. I'm gonna keep all of this. Can you... Yeah, just need to follow the time. Every 5 minutes.
Oh.
I got the minutes written down.
Yep, got it.
All right, how do I get out of here?
You may be hearing some communication over the space-to-ground loops as the astronauts work towards the steps of opening the hatches between the Soyuz and the International Space Station. The idea is to equalize the pressure between the two, and there's a series of hatches. Once the pressure is equalized, meaning that the pressure of the International Space Station matches the pressure inside the Soyuz and the compartment in between the two, there's a series of 2 doors. The first door is on the space station side. That will be opened first by Sergei Prokopyev aboard the International Space Station, and he'll work to assist Oleg Kononenko on the other side, opening up that second door, which is on the Soyuz side.
And I'm gonna go off com. Off com.
Moscow Station, space to ground 2. Go ahead. Yeah, the hardware setup is complete. We had a warning that originated on the EOSOS, but it seems to be all nominal. Moscow unintelligible. Sergey, go to page 2 of the radiogram. Do everything as it says on that page, and then get ready for the first measurement. Say that again. Which step is that again? Step 2.1 on page 2 of the radiogram. Step 2.1. Copy.
Да пока не надо, я потом на него застегивать буду. Оставляй.
No need to do it for now, so you can just keep it here.
Не, что, стой.
No, hold on.
Следующий замер.
Следующий час N.
Хорошо.
Inaudible.
1.
731.
731. 731 is the pressure reading.
Принято
Copy.
731.
731.
Да, есть. Да, поворачивайся ко мне. Ага.
Yes, turn around.
Sergey, this is Moscow. Alexander speaking. Yeah, I'm done with the photography. Yeah, the hatch opening is going to be a little bit earlier than scheduled. So let's do everything up until the step where you're supposed to switch the multimeter on and set it to the 10 amp setting. And I go to switch toggles 1, 2, and 3 into the on position. That's A firm. You are go. Connect the leads to the sockets. They'll be a little loose. So try to get the pins separated enough that everything gets snugly inserted. And that should be the end of that for now.
You're getting a look at the International Space Station Flight Control Room here in Houston, Texas. We're in a short handover right now, handing over from TDRS satellite to TDRS satellite. These are satellites that relay data and communication, audio and video, from the International Space Station via a series of geosynchronous satellites that are about 22 to 23,000 miles away from the Earth.
Okay. What Alexander told you, please get that done and then start floating towards the hatches. Yeah, but on our go, obviously. But that's the plan for the immediate now.
Yes.
Okay, copy. I selected the 10 amp setting on the multimeter. Copy that. You're talking about the fluke that you connected to the 10 amp socket?
Just put
No, a multimeter was?
And then put it over there.
No, I'm talking about the switch.
The rest of our stuff.
Yeah, leave the switch in the off OFF position on the multimeter. Okay, copy that. All right, leaving it on the off position, OFF. All right, and you are going to stand down for now. Copy all. Thank you, Sergey.
Я пошел вниз.
So I'm going to go.
731.
I'm going to.
Тебе шапку оставить?
So should I keep the
Ты будешь говорить давление и
cap here because you will be reporting the pressure measurements and changing at the same time.
Sergey,
right?
stand by for additional hatch opening instructions that should be coming from us. Okay?
Okay, well, let's see.
Следующий размер.
731.
731. 731 is the pressure reading.
Принято 731.
Copy. This is Moscow. We copy 731.
Дэйв, все кидай вот сюда вот. Сразу.
Just do it right away.
Хорошо, закрой.
Okay, go ahead and close it.
Ну, туда положи.
Just put it over there.
Да все, хватит, Дэйв, положи туда.
There, that's enough. Just put it there.
Можешь сверху.
Or just put it over it.
Да. Скоро будет.
Yes, it will be soon.
The International Space Station and Soyuz spacecraft currently over the northern Atlantic Ocean, just east off the coast of the United States, 252 statute miles above the Earth. The crews are checking some of the leaks as they undergo the procedures to equalize the pressure between the Soyuz spacecraft and the International Space Station and begin opening the hatch. Shortly after docking, there was a press conference held at the other side of the world. Notable figures took part in that press conference, including Dmitry Rogozin, the head of Roscosmos, Steve Jurczyk, the NASA Associate Administrator, Bill Gerstenmaier, the NASA Associate Administrator for Human Exploration, Sylvain Laporte, the President of the Canadian Space Agency, and Gilles Leclerc, the Canadian Space Agency International Space Station Program Manager. Let's go to a clip from that news conference that occurred again shortly after the docking of the MS-11 spacecraft to the International Space Station.
Представитель средств массовой информации, уважаемые друзья, хочу всех поздравить с успешной стыковкой корабля «Союз МС-11» с Международной космической станции. Это для нас день такой очень был напряженной работы, день очень волнительный, по понятным для всех причинам, потому что это был первый пуск пилотируемого корабля с экипажем после аварии 11 октября. Очень важно не совершать ошибки, но еще важнее эти ошибки исправлять. И поэтому мы все работали сообща, вместе, поддерживали друг друга. Мы благодарны нашим американским друзьям за то, что они провели параллельное расследование причин аварии и пришли к тем же самым выводам, к которым пришла и российская аварийная комиссия. И эти результаты были подтверждены Государственной комиссией по испытаниям пилотируемых кораблей, которые я имею честь возглавлять. Поэтому после напряженной работы и 4 тестовых полетов ракет «Союз» мы подтвердили высокие качества надежности этой ракеты, а также самого пилотируемого корабля. И счастливы от того, что сегодня тот экипаж, который мы отправили по короткой схеме до Международной космической станции, достиг этой станции. и скоро воссоединиться с экипажем, который на станции находится. Мы исходим из того, что 20 декабря мы ждем экипаж, который находится сейчас на станции. Здесь он тоже вернуться на Землю. Здесь на Байконуре мы будем его встречать. И также я хотел бы по согласованию с моими коллегами из НАСА сообщить о том, что мы приняли решение, что следующий пилотируемый пуск будет совершен 1 марта 2019 года. И в состав этого экипажа войдут космонавт Овчинин и астронавт Хейк, а также госпожа Кристина Кук. 3 человека будут отправлены на Международную космическую станцию, и мы таким образом восстановим ее полную жизнеспособность. Поэтому еще раз хочу поздравить вас всех, моих американских и канадских коллег, потому что хорошие ребята теперь находятся на орбите и приступают к очень серьезной напряженной работе. Теперь, пожалуйста, ваш вопрос.
Launch can't be understated, certainly in the wake of 7 weeks ago, but in your mind, how critical was this for stability of future station operations, and now that the March crew has been named, how important will it be to get those guys up there with their experience now and their impact on future station work?
Ну, понятно, что вот этот сегодняшний запуск был действительно очень критичен для работы станции, для полноценной работы. И вопрос к Биллу Герстенмайеру задает представитель НАСА ТВ Роб Невис. Он хотел бы узнать, каково влияние будет прибывшего экипажа на дальнейшую работу МКС и какие функции они будут выполнять, насколько это будет важно для дальнейшей плодотворной работы этой программы и для дальнейших исследовательских программ.
I think it was very important that we got the crew up there at the right time, and the teams around the world worked together to analyze the problem and get the crews ready to make sure the vehicle is ready to go fly with the crews.
Мне кажется, что экипаж туда был доставлен абсолютно вовремя, и это сейчас очень важно, что они прибыли, и что у нас там правильный состав на станции для плодотворной работы смешанного экипажа.
I think it's also a testimony to the Russian and the entire team that they worked a lot of hours to make sure the vehicle is really ready to go fly.
И хотела бы еще раз отдать должное слаженной работе российских специалистов, всей команде, которые занимались подготовкой этого полета, транспортной системы «Союз», чтобы все работало, чтобы все полетело и все отработало штатно, как это произошло.
And now, as Mr. Rogozin said, we have the crew on orbit, we can announce the next crew, and we can begin to get back into major research on space station. We have the EVA scheduled, we have progress or a cargo flight from Dragon, SpaceX scheduled soon. So we'll now be able to get back into regular tempo, but we first wanted to make sure we got the crew on orbit before we began getting back into the regular tempo of station.
И хотел бы подтвердить слова господина Рогозина, что действительно нам главное было сейчас убедиться, что этот экипаж будет запущен в штатном режиме, он находится на станции. Теперь мы можем перейти к формату нормальной работы на МКС. У нас предстоит напряженная работа. У нас будет запущен туда Dragon корабль, у нас будет запущен Прогресс, у нас предстоят выходы в космос. И дальше мы будем, безусловно, интенсивно заниматься исследовательской работой, экспериментами, которые, собственно, были запланированы.
Выход в открытый космос, пристыковку, напряженную работу, которая будет проводиться сейчас, и реально ли при скоррективной программе добиться всех выполнения научных экспериментов?
Well, for one, we certainly have an outstanding crew that has gone through extensive training and have been certified to be able to conduct the EVAs and the scientific experiments that they were given.
Ну, прежде всего, я хотела бы отметить, что у нас сейчас на борту МКС находится потрясающий экипаж. Они в полной мере были подготовлены к выходам в космос и к проведению серьезных экспериментов.
Plans have been adapted to reflect the fact that there will now be only 3 crew members in a few weeks. So tasks have been reallocated to all of them, and we're very confident that the crew that will be staying on station is competent to do all of the jobs.
И из-за того, что были переоценены экипажи и время было сдвинуто, мы понимали, что какое-то время на станции будет всего 3 человека, были перераспределены задания между членами экипажа. Мы абсолютно уверены в том, что они сейчас полностью готовы к тому, чтобы справиться с теми серьезными заданиями, которые перед ними стоят.
Crew to the International Space Station that occurred at 11:33 a.m. Central Time this morning.
Пункт 4.3.
For page 35, step 4.3, you will need
The press conference was to,
one with the
of course, acknowledge the arrival of the MS-11 crew to the space station, but to also announce the
need to install
next crew launching on February 28th next year, U.S. time, March 1st, Kazakhstan time, from the Baikonur Cosmodrome.
need to move FMP10
2. Это у него маркировка такая.
decimal 2.
That new crew consists of NASA astronaut Nick Hague,
That is the
Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexei Ovchinin, and NASA astronaut Christina Cook.
to move 3.
Hague and Ovchinin, of course,
MRM2.
had to abort the recent mission to the International Space Station back on October 11th.
Они, да, вот они БНП вместе с 3.
They'll be flying with NASA astronaut Christina Cook,
Мими
Near
2.
BMP in
again scheduled for February 28th, U.S. time.
Не переносить.
do not move
На Мим
a foot. It should stay in MRM1. Okay, we won't.
In the meantime, you're looking at one of the cameras on the outside of the International Space Station, looking down at the Earth-facing ports of the International Space Station. Of course, the MS-11 spacecraft on the other side, on the space-facing side of the International Space Station.
Soyuz 739 commander for drying. Copy. That is
Crews continuing to work through the procedures to equalize the pressure between Soyuz and the International Space Station.
Значит, экипаж.
Check for any leaks before opening the hatch and joining the 2 crews, the crew of MS-11 and the crew of the International Space Station.
Хорошо.
Открываю ККТ.
Принято. Открываем.
Открываю КВД.
Открываем.
КВД.
КВД.
Да, есть шипение, давление сразу на 809 скакнуло.
Давление на станции 739.
Принято. Текущее давление 805.
Принято.
Ну, я думаю, Яну Давид, наверное, можно подниматься уже из-за САБО. Ян, Давид, пошли.
Да, можно.
Давление 800.
Олег Дмитриевич, Еще такой пункт, значит, по этой же книге, по книге «Короткая схема», страница 82.
Так. Station Moscow for Sergey, base to ground 2. Go ahead.
Там есть здесь
Sergey, this may still take a little while. I mean, the pressure equalization.
корабля, отключить.
So we'll stand down for now. Okay, copy. I was just monitoring the video to see what it looks like. Yeah, we just saw Alex and the folks that started rushing the balcony as soon as they saw him.
And we're getting a good connection from the inside of the space station. You're looking at Commander Alexander Gerst of the European Space Agency, commander of Expedition 57. The view is finally connected. You can see the station side of the hatch on the Poisk module is opened.
Save that battery a little bit longer.
Я ее знаю, где искать, но я предварительно ее не нашел. Ключ нашел, заглушку нет.
Ну, должно быть в контейнере номер 7, то есть этот над посадочным люком.
Да. Да, ну я же уже ключ взял.
Посмотрите еще раз, может.
Надо искать. Заглушку надо искать.
Encountering a short handover of communications as we switch from Tedra's satellite to Tedra's satellite, providing video and audio communications from the International Space Station. In the meantime, we have NASA Public Affairs Officer Rob Navius standing by over at the other side of the world. Rob. Rob Navius standing by over at the other side of the world. Rob.
Gary, thanks very much. It's been several hours since the successful launch of the Soyuz MS-11 spacecraft. Everything has gone very well, and we're preparing for the hatch opening here in just a few minutes. With me at the moment is Bill Gerstenmaier, the NASA Associate Administrator for Human Exploration Operations. Bill, 7.5 weeks ago, a launch abort. Today, a launch success. How critical was it to get this crew to the International Space Station, and how did the recovery proceed to get to this day?
And again, I think, Rob, it's a really an amazing tribute to this international team that worked this problem. You know, it wasn't an easy problem to go work. We had to launch abort. We didn't know exactly why it happened. The Russian teams were fortunate in the fact they were able to get some hardware back from Kazakhstan, but that was, again, a tribute to their ability to get out to the desert, to find this hardware, to pull it back, to go look and see what's happening. They shared that data, that information with us. We, on the NASA side, we did some independent analysis and look at what data they gave us. But this international activity going back and forth of exchanging data back and forth, understanding what's going on and working together. You know, Kirk Sharman in the ISS program, they set up Vin Fing and a team to go look at it, to be kind of a companion team with the Russian team. I mean, you talk about international cooperation and solving a difficult problem. This is a real tribute to what international success can be when these two teams take all this engineering horsepower, all this analysis capability, and apply it to a difficult problem to find a solution to get us ready to go back to fly in a safe way. I'm very, very proud of this international team for what they did today. What we got to see for this launch is a tribute to the work that they put in over these several weeks, this short time. I mean, they worked nights, they worked weekends, they worked all kinds of holiday times to just make sure that we had done everything we humanly could do to make sure we were ready to go launch this flight. So I'm very proud of the team. You know, challenges can either drive a team together or can drive a team apart. And I can tell you, this case, the team got closer together. This is one strong international team. There's nothing that this team cannot do if they're not given. If we can give them the proper challenge, they can do amazing things. So we are ready to move forward. We're ready to continue with ISS. I'm very, very proud of this international team and where we got to today. And this work today was the test, and it showed that they were ready to go do what they have done. They did the work. We were ready to go fly, and we're docked to station, ready to see hatch opening here in a few minutes.
You said it earlier today, every launch is a nail-biter. Just curious as to what your thoughts were for 8 minutes, 45 seconds this afternoon.
Well, I have a problem, I guess, that I probably know more than I ought to know for all these launches. So there's no launch that's trivial to me. Every launch, I'm concerned. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I know we have done everything we can to get ready to go fly, but I'm not ever 100% sure. And so it's like you get ready for a final exam. You've done everything you can. You've studied all night. You've studied. You've put all the work together. You put your pencils down. Give me the test. I'm ready. And that's where we were today. And that's how I look at every launch. Every launch is like that final exam. It's like that test. We're ready, but we'll see what we get when we get graded at the end. And we got graded, and we did well today. So we'll take each one at a time. We'll get prepared. We're ready to keep flying, and we'll keep doing great things on the space station.
Finally, earlier this evening, the head of Roscosmos, Dmitry Rogozin, announced, amongst other things, that the crew that will be launching March 1st, Nick Hague, Alexei Ovchinin, they get a reflight, as he promised back in October, and they'll fly with NASA astronaut Christina Cook. Your thoughts quickly on how that crew will be blended together and the challenges that lie ahead over the next 3/4 of a year.
Again, I think it's a real tribute to the Russians. You know, we met with them. We talked about it. We wanted to agree to fly Nick and Alexei at the right time, but we didn't want to do it before we really had assured ourselves we could get back to flight and get back to some stability. And so this flight, after this occurred, we agreed that we would then announce that next flight. We still got a lot of planning to do. The station program's got a lot to figure about where the EVAs go. You know, we've got the big battery change-out EVAs that are coming up and where those occur. We know Nick has been trained for some of those activities. Maybe that fits again. Maybe he gets a chance to go do some of those EVAs. But again, I won't speculate on all that. We'll let the teams go work it. We've got the team put in place. We know that launch date. We don't know exactly when that crew is going to return. We don't know exactly the details of 2019, but that's okay. We'll work that out over time, and we'll get a chance to see what life gives us and move forward. So we know the next steps. We've got the right crews in training. It'll be exciting to see them get a chance to go fly again. I think they are both excited about getting a chance to go back to orbit again and to accomplish the mission and do what they were trained to go do. So I think it's a very fitting thing for them to return to flight very soon, to get a chance to execute what they trained so hard for the last year before they have to sit out for a while to go do that. So getting a chance for them to fly again with Christine and on the 1st of March, I think will be very fitting, and we'll work out the details through the rest of the year with the ISS program.
Thanks, Bill. Bill Gerstenmaier, the NASA Associate Administrator for Human Exploration Operations, with us in Baikonur. Gary, hatch opening is looming. Back to you in Houston.
Thank you. That was Rob Navius over in Mission Control Moscow. He is with Bill Gerstenmaier, Associate Administrator for Human Exploration, providing some kind words on the international cooperation needed to ensure a successful flight today. We're just moments away now from the hatch opening to unite the two crews, the crew of MS-11 and the crew of the International Space Station.
Inward. Yep, we see you.
And getting a good view, we're getting Alexander Gerst there. Opening the hatch, you can see Serena Anand Chancellor, NASA astronaut, and in the background now in the foreground, Sergei Prokopyev. This is the crew of Expedition 57. They've been there since June aboard their MS-09 craft that you were seeing on the Earth-facing side of the International Space Station just a few moments ago. Now waiting to open that second hatch. The hatch you're seeing there is the hatch to the Soyuz spacecraft. Behind there are the 3 new crew members about to be welcomed on board the International Space Station. Another short handover. Bit of a tight squeeze there. That was the Poisk module on the Russian side of the International Space Station, one of the many docking compartments that are on that side. This is on the space-facing side of the International Space Station. There's two on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment. The segment they were in just moments ago was referred to as the Poisk module. On the Earth-facing side is the Rassvet module and the Pirs docking compartment. There are visiting vehicles attached to all of these docking compartments. Of course, on Poisk is the MS-11 craft about to open the hatches very soon. On the other side is the MS-09, which the three crew members you're seeing and some of the views on the inside of the Poisk module will be taking home December 19th U.S. time. Serena Anand Chancellor camera ready as they're waiting for the final moments to welcome the new crew aboard the International Space Station.
Похоже, уже константа, 74,2.
Вот если 2 минуты не меняется, то уже считаем, что выровнено.
Хорошо. Хорошо. Что у меня опять? 1-0.
Of course, an important checkbox when joining two space vehicles together is making sure that the seal between them is airtight. Getting good readouts from here in Mission Control Houston, but verification never hurts. Should be just a few more moments until the hatch opens and the two crews are united.
Антарис УЦП Москвы.
Минута 74,2. Антарис УЦП Москвы. 1 минута 74,2. Сказал.
Принято 1 минута, да, не меняется.
Принято 1 минута, да, не меняется.
Getting good readouts of the pressure to open that second hatch. The first hatch, before we established the connection, was a special tool was needed to use to unbolt several of the components to open that first part. Again, there's two parts of the docking compartment, one on the station side, the other on the Soyuz side. Station side is open, just waiting for the go to open the hatch to the Soyuz.
КВД.
КВД закрыт. Закрыт КВД.
Принято.
Принято. Ну что, открываем?
Давайте открываем тогда. Страница 81.
Страница 81. Принято.
And confirmed hatch opening, 1:37 p.m. Central Time. The International Space Station was 250 miles over the southern coast of Yemen. First out is NASA's Anne McClain. being united with the Expedition 57 crew, her first spaceflight. Next out is David Saint-Jacques of the Canadian Space Agency. A warm welcome from the Expedition 57 crew. Bringing up the rear is Oleg Kononenko from Roscosmos, Soyuz commander for the MS-11 mission that launched just early this morning at 5:31 a.m. Central Time. Expedition 57 now whole after hatch opening at 1:37 p.m. Central Time.
Так, Айдар, как слышишь меня?
Да, слышу вас. Все,
Айдар,
отключаете, да?
люк открыл, заглушку КСД вставил. Теперь спускаюсь в носа, выполнять, отключаю средства связи и перехожу.
Да, хорошо. Да, все верно.
Как принял?
Sounds good. I copy.
Выполняю, приступил.
Ага. Ну все, счастливо вам тогда. Полета.
All right. Good luck then.
Айдар, запиши, подача 2 горит.
And set 2 is
After taking
on.
some photos of their first
Copy.
moments together,
2 is
united as one Expedition 57 crew in the Poisk module on the Russian side of the International Space Station. The crew will now join in the aft end, or the back of the International Space Station in the Zvezda service module, where there will be a short welcoming ceremony.
Yes.
And the crew will be able to talk with some of the management of both Roscosmos, NASA, and the Canadian Space Agency as well, and the friends and family that are standing by in the Mission Control Center just outside of Moscow.
Yes, it's correct.
Принято, отключаю.
Copy. And work.
Хорошо, все тогда.
The crew is now switching cameras, going to set up over again in the Zvezda service module in the aft end or the back of the International Space Station. Expedition 57 crew united in the Poisk module on the Russian side of the International Space Station. After a 6-hour and 2-minute journey from launch to docking earlier this morning. Hatches were opened at 1:37 p.m. Central Time. The International Space Station was traveling 250 statute miles just over the southern coast of Yemen. Again, the Expedition 57 crew, now whole with 6 members. First, Alexander Gerst, Serena Anand-Chancellor, and Sergei Prokopyev, recently joined by Oleg Kononenko, Anne McLean, and David Saint-Jacques. Hatches were opened at 1:37 p.m. Central Time. This is just about 8 hours from the time of launch, 5:31 a.m. Central Time this morning. The crew is getting set up in the aft end, or the back of the International Space Station. This is where the service module is, the Zvezda service module. Once we establish a good video and audio connection, they'll be able to speak with some management of Roscosmos, NASA, and the Canadian Space Agency, as well as friends and family standing by in the Mission Control Center just outside of Moscow.
Сереж, надо включить камеру в СМе. Ждем.
Sergey, turn off the camera in the SM.
Очень хороший кадр. Видим вас.
Very good image.
Station Houston on Space Ground 1. If we get a long 10 count from you, we'd appreciate it. Station Houston on 1 for a PAO event. If you could give us a long 10 count, help us sync the voice and video, please.
Houston Station on 1, come check.
Loud and clear on 1.
All right, here's the 10 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How copy?
Alex, if we can get one more 10 count with your face a little closer to the camera so we can sync it all up. Or more closely, just need to see your face.
Understood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Copy. Checking. And Alex, we're still not convinced. Can you count to 10 again for us, please?
Экипаж МКС в Москве в канале СГ-1. Сергей, можно начинать
Station
репортаж.
Moscow and Space Ground 1, Sergey, we can start.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Как нас слышите, СГ-1?
Do you read us? How do you read us?
Хорошо.
Reading well, loud and clear.
Ну, мы все, мы готовы.
So we are ready.
С приездом, ребята.
Hello, guys.
Спасибо. С прилетом у нас, да, спасибо.
Thank you.
Москва, как нас слышно?
Moscow, how do you read us?
Слышим отлично, да.
5 by 5.
С нами никто не общается.
Why are you keeping silent?
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Да, мы готовы.
We are ready.
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event? Baikonur, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check. Baikonur, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Rob Navius with your colleagues, families, and friends in Baikonur. How do you hear me?
Hey, Rob, this is the International Space Station. We hear you loud and clear.
Familiar voice for you.
Привет, станция.
Hi,
My name is
station.
Julie Payette. I'm the Governor General of Canada. Former astronaut, veteran of 2 spaceflight. Welcome, Expedition 5758. There's a delay, right? Oui, Prista, Viceli.
Merci, quel bel
Budushemira.
accueil.
Il y a un délai, c'est ça. So, yeah, Achu Nieskolka Slov.
Yeah, representatives of the future of humankind. I'd like to say a few words.
Oui, Prista, Viceli, Budushemira.
You are representatives of the world's future.
Stanția Letiat.
Right now,
Liet.
the station
Stigla Viecom.
has been flying for so many years with a human on board. With no gap.
Arasho Uspech.
And this is a great success.
We have been flying and cooperating for a long time. And what the teamwork that you demonstrate today is exactly what we should replicate on Earth more often. As the African proverb says, if we choose to go alone, we might go fast. But if we go together, we go farther. And that's what you are doing for us today. Thank you. And I know Anne, as a West Point graduate, Army aviator, you know exactly what I mean. David, au nom des Canadiens, nous sommes tellement fiers de te voir dans l'espace. Bravo. Tu le mérites bien, tu as travaillé tellement fort. Nous allons te suivre à chaque moment. Bravo, bravo, bravo. En ich grüße ganz die Crew, die ganze Crew. Alex, Commander Alex, for all the work that you've done. Serena, we go way back, as you were the flight surgeon in so many flights, including mine. Sergey, and now David. Oleg, good job. And Anne, we wish you an extraordinary flight. Very successful, very peaceful, and very wonderful. Отлично пути. Goodbye.
Have a good flight.
Merci beaucoup, Julie. Merci pour le bel accueil. C'est bon.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Sylvain Laporte. I'm the president of the Canadian Space Agency. Congratulations on a great flight and a successful rendezvous. Although we knew that you were safe and sound, there was nothing like seeing you come through the hatch. I can assure you, and when we saw you come through, there was a lot of applause and relief to see that you were all safe in coming out. I'll keep my remarks short. Just want to say that we look forward to the next 6 months. There's a lot of work to be done, of course, and we're looking forward to a very successful completion of all of your activities and your mission. Thank you very much.
Hello, Oleg, David, and Anne.
Amazing opportunity.
This is Steve Jerzik, the NASA Associate Administrator. I also want to congratulate you on your successful launch, rendezvous, docking, and ingress to the ISS. I have to agree with Rob. You look really great up there. It's a testimony to your hard work and training, and also the thousands of people that supported you in the successful launch and the successful operations of ISS. I look forward to following the research and technology experiments you're going to do and the other activities to maintain the ISS as the amazing laboratory that it is. And I hope you have fun and enjoy the view. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for those words. I can assure you that all of the smiles as we came through the hatch were very genuine. We're having a blast so far, and we look forward to continuing the hard work.
Олег, наконец-то я поздравляю вас,
Oleg,
что у вас все
finally,
получилось.
I can congratulate you on the success.
Успешным
of the docking
на Международную космическую
and arrival
станцию.
to the ISS.
Программы у вас много.
The program
Дублирующий
is
экипаж
busy.
вам тоже передает привет.
The backup crew are saying hi to you.
Ну, командир тоже слезу пустил.
The commander as well was very emotional.
Все нормально.
Glad that everything
Поэтому
went well.
удачи.
So good luck.
Спасибо, Татьяна. Всем нам удачи. И вам, чтобы все было хорошо.
Good luck to all of us and to you too.
Папа, привет.
Hi, Dad.
Папа, привет. Это Алиса.
This is Alisa.
Как слышно?
Do you read me?
Shorthand.
Мы вернулись.
So we're back.
Папа, привет. Это Алиса.
Dad, hi. This is Alisa.
Поздравляю тебя с успешным стартом и стыковкой.
Congratulations on successful launch and docking.
Все очень рады за тебя.
Everyone is very happy for you. Everyone is saying hi to you.
Будем ждать тебя скоро на Земле.
Looking forward to seeing you back on Earth.
Скоро вовремя.
Спасибо.
Вовремя. Так что удачи
Hopefully
вам.
in time. So good luck. Thank you.
Спасибо.
Привет, папа, это Андрей.
Hi, Dad. This is Andre.
Хорошо выглядишь.
You look good.
Хорошо выглядишь.
Я...
Ты тоже неплохо.
You don't look bad either.
Спасибо.
Thanks.
Поздравляю вас с успешным прибытием. Желаю
Congratulations on the
хорошего
successful
полета,
arrival.
успешного.
Wishing you successful flight.
Спасибо. А вам,
Thanks.
Алиса, хорошую учебу в школе без папы.
And don't get too relaxed when
Спасибо.
studying at school. Good luck on your studies. Thank you.
Annie, from Dawn and I, congratulations, and it looks so awesome to see you there, finally, after 36 years of lots of study. And there's congratulations flying all over Facebook and Twitter for you from family and friends around the world. Love you. Bye.
Love you guys too.
Hey,
It's
Ann.
great to hear your voice, and
You look-
this is better than I could have ever imagined.
You look so happy. It's amazing to see you up there finally after all this hard work. There's a party going on in Spokane. They're partying on Juanita Road, and somewhere Dad is looking down and he's smiling too. So awesome job.
Thanks, John. I know he would have been very proud of this moment, just like all the friends and family and the supporters of all of us. So we thank all of our roots on the ground that allows us to stand strong.
Hey, Ann. I wanted to let you know that B saw you point, and he told everybody it was for him. And he was so excited about the dragon, and the elf on the shelf took it over the top. And I am supposed to relay to you that he loves you more. And then he said, actually, to Pluto. So do good things up there. I'm so proud of you.
Well, we'll have to let him know that we made a stop a little bit shy of Pluto, but we're still pretty excited to be up here. And please send my love back to him, and I miss all of you guys.
And you've spent hundreds of hours swimming through the modules of the space station, looking at all the things to do and trying to understand the experiences. In your more light moments, what have you wondered about that you hope to find answers for while you're there?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I wanted to see, Uncle Bruce, was looking out the window and looking back at our Earth. And I will never forget the moment shortly after we got into orbit. We got up when it was dark, And about the same time, David and I both looked out and we saw our first sunrise from orbit, and it was absolutely breathtaking.
Allô, David? C'est comme dans la chanson, on est épuisé, mais vraiment ravis de te voir là-haut. J'imagine que tu vas découvrir bientôt des horizons grands et fous comme ceux qu'on a aimés ensemble au Nunavik. Les enfants sont contents. Ils ont hâte de te voir flotter aussi. Je veux dire que je t'aime, je suis fière de toi, je suis fière de nous. Je suis fière de toute l'équipe qui est derrière cette mission-là. Puis on se reparle bientôt de notre salon.
Merci, mon amour. La vague est très forte, cette vague énorme qui m'a amené jusqu'ici. C'était tout un voyage. Ça ne fait que commencer. Je manque de mots. Je peux avoir une meilleure manière de m'exprimer demain. Pour le moment, je suis juste complètement abasourdi par tout ce que j'ai vu dans les dernières 6 heures. C'est incroyable. Et puis, je sais que vous êtes tous là avec moi ici dans mon cœur. Merci.
Bonsoir, David. Parce que c'est vraiment la fin d'une longue journée, une belle et mémorable pour nous, sans doute, pour vous autres aussi, et pour tous tes amis qui sont venus exprès pour ce moment. Demain commenceront 6 mois de découverte. Bon vent et à l'été prochain.
Merci, maman. Merci d'avoir tant contribué à rendre ça possible. Et puis, je veux partager ça avec tout le monde. C'est incroyable la quantité d'énergie, d'amour qu'il y a derrière cette aventure-là, qui est une aventure que je vis pour tout le monde. Merci à tout le monde d'être là.
David, maintenant que tu es dans la station, je te souhaite de réaliser l'ensemble du programme de recherche et d'essais, particulièrement dans le domaine de la santé, et dans tes moments libres, de nous faire saisir la beauté et surtout la fragilité de notre planète, la Terre. Bon travail.
Merci, papa. Merci, papa. C'est qui m'a fait faire mes premiers pas dans le monde de l'aventure, d'abord en forêt. Maintenant, j'ai cette vision-là de la Terre, le premier lever de soleil que j'ai vu là tout à l'heure, après qu'on soit arrivé en orbite, c'était époustouflant, moyen, on s'est regardé, on n'en revenait pas, chacun par notre hublot. C'est pas la fin des découvertes, c'est juste le début, et puis on va vivre ça tous ensemble.
And for you half-dozen explorers up on the International Space Station, that's going to wrap it up from here in Baikonur. Many thanks, fly safe, and I'll turn it back to the audio control room in Houston.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Rob, and congratulations again to Roscosmos for successfully launching Soyuz MS-11 to the International Space Station, enabling the continuous presence for 18 years. There have been uninterrupted presence of humans on the space station, and thanks to this launch, we can continue to do so. Thanks a lot, and congratulations again from the International Space Station. Спасибо.
Thank you to all participants in Baikonur Station. We are now resuming operational audio communications.